this episode, we only have one rule. Ranged units only in our army, and let's bring forth all challengers. Alright, well, he's married off, so now more people joining our clan here, and we have a battle today on Tactical Enlightenment. Welcome back again. This is our Archer-only challenge. I wasn't able to prevent this battle from occurring, initiating here before I showed you our forces, but I can do this. I can go in and say donate troops, just as a way of showing you these two forces here. You can see we have all Archers, excuse me, in both armies here, and it does say 1 infantry and 5 infantry. You can frankly ignore that because it's calling some of these guys, some of the companions, infantry, presumably because they have a shield or something like that. Some of these companions you see are starting to level up, but most of them are pretty low level, and of course we have some higher level troops. Now this army is starting to upgrade, right? We're 72 Imperial Sergeant Crossbowmen, we have some 60 Battanian Fiend Champs, and even though this Western Empire force is twice our size with normal player damage, I don't think this is... well, the power bar says that they're slightly favored, and I guess my response to that is LOL. They have no chance of winning here. Alright, so I love this valley here. This valley has all kinds of tactical opportunities, and it's an incredible funnel opportunity. We're going to funnel the enemy in here, bait them with a square, attack them with shield walls, and rain down holy hell on this army here. So I want the 2nd and 1st Infantry to act as effectively quasi-infantry. The 1st Infantry is going to be in the front, and they will be the ones that meet the onset of the enemy cav. I need something to slow down the enemy heavy cav. So I'm going to ride out in front. In fact, I'm the only person with a horse in our entire army. Our 2nd Infantry will be up on the side here with the 4th and the 5th. The 4th can also square if it has to. You see there's a handful of shields in there. Wait till we get a whole bunch of sharpshooters, right? Our army is going to be ferocious. Then the 5th Corps, they're going to be essentially behind these rocks to assail the enemy as they come in. Now, so Zuvan is leading the 6th with his elite skill set. He'll be over here on the left, and I'm going to tuck this army group on the left up into this little nook and cranny here, right? It's perfect for archers. They're around the bend there. They can fire down on the enemy. They're completely immune from enemy arrows, and they can assist the guys in the valley here. Now, these fucks are in my way here. I can't move. Fucking assholes. We're going to put the 2nd up at the front of that other high tier over there in case we need to square or shield wall them to protect those guys.
Forward, stand apart.
And now we await the onslaught of the enemy heavy cav. Now I'm going to use myself sacrificially here somewhat. I'm going to basically try to distract, gather attention, slow down some of these heavy horse coming in so that they don't skewer too many of our infantry. See, it's doing exactly what I want. I want a lot of these guys to draw their attention to me, right? Attack me there, boys. Let our archers set up. Yeah, you guys just haplessly try to attack me. Nicely done there, fellas. And I just bought our side there. 20 critical seconds. Alright, so first is it's time to shield wall these boys, and the 2nd we're probably going to have to square and see how much this slows down. This thick shield wall here should really slow these guys down. Of course, now they're being shot. I'm pummeling them with my mace, and it's general misery here for the cavalry charge. This guy's just standing here, so we'll put him out of his misery. And now it's time to start kiting. Alright, so 1st Division back, 2nd Division up around the corner, 4th and 5th pull around the edges here. We're basically trying to get better line of sight without being able to be hit by their archers. We got amazing crossfire now with the 6th Corps. The 6th Corps is behind me. Of course, they're lighting up everything in sight. We'll keep moving this 1st Infantry back here. Actually, let's move them in a line formation. The enemy vanguard hasn't reached them yet, and so we have the chance for these guys to kind of break away, get away from this huge zerg of the enemy vanguard. Now the enemy vanguard, I hear the guys screaming because they're being shot. Our 1st is slowly getting away here. Fuck, that was not the right command. I want these guys moving away. We may even square these guys here. For now, I'm just going to keep pulling them away. And now what I have to do is bring the 2nd Corps. Well, the enemy's not attacking up that side yet. The 2nd Corps will be in shield wall on that side to attack and hold the line there if the enemy does eventually start attacking them. Here they come. Alright, so 2nd Division brought over in a shield wall line. We'll back the other divisions up. 2nd Division there. Okay, good. And we'll back the other divisions up. A lot of these archers can't hit us, so they're just standing there at their bow. It looks like they got 1 kill there. And now we just have these guys in an absolute maelstrom of fire. The 6th is absolutely pounding them in the back. In fact, we can back these guys up even further, put the 2nd Division in a square, move them further back from the enemies. And the enemy's fucked now. They're completely in a maelstrom. The 6th Corps is over here. Tactics a little bit better and to be able to move around a little bit better. I'm going to stay on horse for most of this series. Die, you bastard! Well, your whole army is about dead. Alright, here comes their 2nd wave. So these guys are going to open fire. The 2nd Corps can come forward in a shield wall here. And that'll obliterate everything in sight. They're already running. That was it. Oh my god, that was fast. What was that, a 10-minute battle? 8-minute battle? That was an absolute massacre. I'll be surprised if we lost 10 troops here, too. What a fucking destructive victory. We lost 3 guys. 1,000 sturgeons, Western Empire fucks, whatever it was. It was a rainbow of different forces, a rainbow coalition, and they got obliterated here. And this is a form of a kill box for people who are curious. Yes, this is a form of a kill box. Obviously, we don't have the complete kill box. We don't have skirmishers. We don't have infantry to close in on them. No cav to run them over. But the effects are very similar, right? It's horrendous crossfire for the enemy, and the AI and this opponent had no idea what to do about it. Now, of course, this would be devastating on a human opponent as well, but especially on the AI. We just lure them into this valley with the square, then we kited them, and, well, that was it. So far, so good with our Archer challenge here. We're not going to take any of these free troops. We're not taking, of course, anything but archers, but we will take some prisoners in case we get losses over the course of some of the battles ahead. We're going to need to replenish our stocks, although obviously when we have battles like that, we literally didn't lose a single guy, right? There, we had 3 injuries, so a couple days rest here, and this whole army is ready to go again. Like barely even injured in this battle. Let's get some upgrades here. Scary to think that we're getting stronger. I mean, and that after that battle, the next battle we're going to be stronger. But there you have it. And we're over the limit. Obviously not concerned about that at all. We'll see some loot here and conclude this episode. Today's going to be a quickie. There's a possibility I combine this with another episode or something else. I tend to hesitate from making like a 9-minute episode, but it is what it is, fellas. Anyways, we're going to continue on with this Archer-only series. This has been a lot of fun, and as you can see, they are overpowered in Bannerlord, and especially when used right, they are incredibly destructive. Right, so it's actually occurred to me that this is actually a perfect opportunity to reload this save game. I saved it a little while ago. All I had to do is just basically initiate this same battle. And what I'm going to do is we're going to fight this battle now in slow-mo, right? We're going to essentially take that 5-minute of blur of death there, and now we're going to fight this using the RTS mod and fight it slower. Now, of course, we're playing with Bannerlord difficulty, and it is the hardest difficulty, but again, we're talking about the AI here. We're not talking about increased intelligence with the AI. I don't have like some mod, unfortunately, that makes the AI any better. There are mods that do make the AI a little bit better, and I guess I could fiddle around with a little bit with that in this Archer series at some point, but for now we're sticking with vanilla. Now the setup here, I'll just spend a little bit longer on it this time. So the 1st Division is crossbows, right? And we don't want a ton of guys in there because they're going to be running a lot of this battle, right? Frankly, they're bait. So 46 guys in there. They've got a guy with a banner that decreases their taking melee attack damage, and the same thing with the 2nd Division. The 2nd Division is 79 guys. I actually want to reduce this into like the 40s or 50s. The reason is because you got your guys who are going to be squaring for you in a situation like this, or shield walling like this. And I apologize if you can hear the mouse clicking in the background. What I've done is I've turned down the volume considerably so that you can hear me talk over this episode more clearly. A lot of times people say they can't quite hear me as loud. I have certain things turned up when I normally play. Sometimes it makes it so that there's some feedback or some other sounds in the background, but the bottom line is that this episode, hopefully you can hear me nice and clear. Now again, the main principle of this idea here obviously is to lure the enemy in the center and then just massive crossfire, right? As the enemy's coming through here, they're shot to pieces. Now as this battle starts, we'll actually speed up the initial stages here. I'm going to get this 6th Corps put up on the side here. What I will do is as the enemy starts to come in, I will move things a lot slower. In fact, in the early stages here, I'll just use the slow-mo. Right, the slow-mo is a perfectly viable option. It's a way of really slowing down the game so that you can see what's going on. Right, this is perfect both for a tutorial sake, like we're doing in this episode, and also, of course, if you're trying to learn yourself. So the 6th is, you can see, it's way back there. It's basically out of the battle to start this thing. Now, there's a couple reasons for that. First, we don't plan on fighting where the enemy is. Right, we're not going to just rush to where the enemy's being aggressive. Right, we want them to come to us. They attacked us. They're forced to attack us. The next thing I'm doing, and I did this in the first battle, and I want to use this RTS mode, so we're at now 30% of normal game speed. So I'm going to club some guys over the head here in slow-mo. What I did in the first battle is basically try to gather the attention of the enemy here. Right? I want these guys attacking me because we have nothing but archers to get the enemy's attention. And obviously if they have cav, it's a very bad situation for your archers. Now we know it's not as bad as it could be, right? We know in real life this would be devastating throughout history. Of course, cav just mangled archers in the open field. But in Bannerlord, right, with how weak spear cav especially is, archers are quite dominant. I still want their attention here because those guys are shooting, right? As long as they're not being run over by heavy cav here, those guys are shooting. Now, of course, I'm not going to kill the whole army here. I won't just use the slow-mo for my advantage. But you can see they're down there and they're firing away, and there's some cav charging them. So what I did here early on is I said, okay, I want you guys to shield wall. Now, almost all of those guys have shields, right? In fact, I think all of them do. And what that does, of course, is it provides them both a layer of defense, right? Of course, they're not getting speared by all these cav that are aggressively charging down here, but it's also slowing the enemy down because when they hit the shield wall, their momentum is killed, right? This horse is flying all over the place. And when, of course, their momentum is lost, very bad things are happening to them because you and I know that we have 4 other archer divisions. In fact, let's watch this guy. He's coming up here. That guy blocked his attack, and he didn't do shit, right? He basically, this guy's physically stuck in there. He's getting clubbed. And the rest of this cav, they just charge downhill. 1 or 2 guys might get a spear off, right? That guy just clubbed his horse to death. That guy's dead. And the rest of them, they can't move at all, right? Because they're being jammed up now on dead horses. I always say dead horses. On dead riders who used to have a horse. They're getting jammed up on each other. This guy here aggressively is coming in. He gets crushed in slow-mo. Kind of fun, actually, to fuck around in slow-mo. All right, so here's the other thing that this enemy obviously has. I trucked that guy right off his fucking horse. This guy, or this division, has the ability to square. So we'll back him up. This second division over there, if they're getting zerged, those guys can square. Now, I see some cav running through there, but it's not too bad. Still, we will square them, right? We will play this out kind of like I did the first battle. Now, the 4th and 5th, and of course, this is really easy with slow mode like this. I'm just bringing these guys around the edge because they have this rock to protect them. This division down here is now trying to retreat in a shield wall, and they're taking some damage, right? There's some guys spearing them and shit like that. But you know, they're definitely going to hold out better than if they were just running in normal style, right? Now, they run slower, of course, so you got to prepare your square a little bit sooner. But what's happening is here is the enemy is attacking that square, and meanwhile, they're being absolutely ripped apart by crossfire, right? Crossfire is where multiple divisions are shooting them at the same time. Now, I could leave that second division. The second division's up there. I could leave those guys in a square, but look how few cav is attacking them, right? Not very many. So we're going to pull them out of square, bring them down here, and then we're going to continue to move these other archer divisions down a little bit. The square, this first division, continues to get pushed back. I continue to be a nice target here. The enemy likes to attack me. I've got elite armor. I'm happy to fight the enemy here. And, of course, it's a distraction, right? These guys are getting skewered, shot in the face. Anybody without a shield here is absolutely toast. They have no chance. And, of course, even the guys with the shield are going to take so many different arrow shots that it's not really going to matter that much that they have shields. The other thing, of course, that's the reason it's not going to matter, is that we are going to be literally all around this shield, right? They're not going to form a square very well. This battle, it's actually interesting. It's a little different than the first. They're kind of heading towards the 6th, but it's pretty easy for me just to send the 6th up there. We'll back the 1st up even more. Because as long as they're gaining distance, the 1st Corps is both shooting. You see those guys actually shooting, still killing guys. But they're also a big distraction for all this cav that's running through here. Fucking asshole. You attack the Jarl in slow-mo, dude. I don't think that's a good idea. Meanwhile, on the other side, of course, the enemy's absolutely getting pounded by crossfire, right? It's just 3 divisions over there. Even though that second was in a square a second ago, now they're killing people. That's the beautiful versatility that crossbow have. All right, so there's still a massive amount of Vanguard in the middle here, right? And they're likely to come to one of the 2 sides eventually. They're going to be like, shit, well, clearly we can't reach that square. So what I like to do in a battle like this is actually bait it with the square. The other thing we can do, and I'm not going to do it yet, but I can take that second division with a lot of guys with squares, and we can have those guys shield wall and face the enemy, right? They could even charge. Now, a lot of their archers, I don't know if you can notice, they can't shoot. They can't see anybody, right? They're just now starting to get line of sight, and of course they're being badly shot to death while that's happening. So the first division, they're kind of lunging towards the first division. So we're going to back them up. It actually says kill them all, but I've already told them to retreat, right? So they're going to, very briefly, a little erroneous AI error. Sometimes, not AI so much as UI, right? The UI gets a little haywire. So I'm backing them up here. You know, of course, I did some killing the first battle. We can do a little slow-mo killing in the second battle, but the purpose of this is instructional. You see the enemies down here. They're trying to hold their shields up. They're trying to throw javelins, but these guys are being absolutely shot to pieces. 5 different angles. The Manavliton's just got a kill, it looks like, or at least a Manavliton got a kill. You're not getting that javelin off, dude. Down in slow-mo. Trucked. The 6th Corps, I don't think I did this the first battle. What we can actually do is move them around to the other side of the enemy, right? And the reason you do that is so that they're physically behind the enemy. So the enemy's chasing after your square, that first division, and now they have a division moving behind them. Now the enemy is throwing javelins. I see their javelins flying through the air, but we have a high enough level troops, combination of high level troops, but also banner in that division that gives those guys protection from ranged weapons. In fact, the 6th Corps is captained by Zhuvan, right? This character himself, and he has an outstanding banner of 15% less ranged attack damage, but also just massive perks, right? He's like absolutely stacked to the moon with perks. Everything from like 300 bow skill, 300 athletics. You know, his troops have all kinds of bonuses. Now the enemy's coming vigorously over here, so what we're going to do is form that second, like I told you, into a shield wall, right? We need an infantry division over here. Some of the archers are engaging in melee. Don't really want that, right? I don't want archers coming up on their own fighting these guys one-on-one. What I want is I want units distracting the enemy in a shield wall like we just sent. Now this first division back here can actually be told to charge. In case any of those guys are out of ammo, they can now start coming up aggressively against the enemy. And again, at this stage, what you have, obviously, is the enemy is really being cross-fired. You can just hear the bullets raining down. The 6th Corps is over there. And I apologize for the lighting. That's the it's the time-lapse mod. That lighting comes from this time-lapse mod. It's trying to simulate sunshine, and sometimes the shadows get a little out of whack like that. All that said, I still think this slow-mo has a lot of value, and I still think that mod has a lot of value. All right, so the enemy's regrouping here. Now, I'm not thinking about it as much this battle, but what we did in that in that first battle is I moved archers immediately to this flank, and that's so that we can kill them on their retreat, right? We're not going to let these guys just get a free pass. They don't get to charge in like they're fucking Rambo and then leave without paying a toll, right? We're going to make these guys pay the toll. In fact, we're going to kill this noble with our slow-mo Neo-like cheating here. And I think this battle's basically over. They might, they might have another round. I don't know. I don't think they really did that first battle. It was over in a jiffy. This guy takes a headshot in slow-mo. And by the way, right, if you're learning the game, I don't see any reason why the RTS mod would not be part of your arsenal, just so you could slow down battles like this, right? Now, you can slow down battles without the RTS mod if you're playing with a console, right? If you select a unit, it does this for you. But with the RTS mod, what's beautiful is you can just do this and not worry about having a unit selected. So you can run around the battlefield and just swing your mace, or I can practice my archery fire. Now, admittedly, practicing your combat skills in slow-mo is not really going to help you, but your command skills will certainly benefit, right? You'll be able to say, okay, let's try working on this kill box. let's log into that crazy YouTuber's channel, the guy with the kill box. Let's watch that shit. And just like a painter of Bob Ross, this is probably going to date me as a person here, but just like somebody emulating somebody they saw on TV. Oh shit, we slow-mo fucking roll from our horse. This is badass. There goes my horse on the ground. I'm going to club some of these guys. You know, just like somebody emulating an instructional something or other you see on TV. Bob Ross is the one that comes to mind for me because he was a famous painter in like the 1980s and 90s. People would watch him paint. He would do like 20-minute paintings, and then people would literally record and then make their own paintings just watching what he's doing, right? It was highly instructional, and of course with VCR or however they were recording it back then, very easy for people to then take that, emulate it, and then repeat it on their own, right? I don't think any of the tactics I'm doing here are so difficult that you guys can't do them, right? It does take practice, of course, and to do it in real-time speed like I do takes a lot of practice, right? This is definitely not easy, but once you get it going a few times with some practice, get the fuck out of here, motherfucker, then I think you guys should all be able to have this same kind of resounding success. All right, we're going to speed this up here. In fact, I'm going to make it faster than normal, and what that'll do is kind of speed this battle along, because obviously this battle is open. A lot harder to play, by the way. Yeah, if you can play at this kind of speed, you're basically a beast, right? This is like like playing on crack or something like that. And the enemy is fleeing here. Now, we didn't quite obtain the results of the first battle, and I'll just chalk that up to little variabilities with every battle. In fact, the enemy, for some reason here, is charging in still, even though the battle's over. But hopefully this slow mode version of this helps you see how you can use archers, how you can use the terrain, how you can use multiple divisions, how you can use archers and squares and shield walls and distractionary forces and the RTS mode to fly around the battlefield like your Super Mario brother here. All right, fellas. So hopefully that helps you fellas out there. Hopefully you guys start conquering Bannerlord. You guys, my favorite comments for sure are when you guys come back a week or two after seeing videos on the channel, and the next thing you know, we don't need to go through all this process here. I've already saved the game, but you guys tell me that all of a sudden you guys are starting to kick ass and win battles that you couldn't or didn't before you visited the channel. Fellas, that's just music to my ear, right? That's like a professor all of a sudden getting phone calls from guys who've been accepted as professors at other colleges, right? You guys, of course, have helped make me better. Plenty of the guys that watch this and view the channel on a regular basis are at my skill level or greater, and so it's a cumulative thing, right? You make me better, I make you guys better, we all win, and hopefully we can share a little bit of life philosophy on the way. So with all that said, again, thanks again for watching, friends. Please like and comment and all that stuff. It's really good for the channel. It brings more people to the channel, more enthusiasts, and a lot of people who I think will really benefit from all this material. So with all that said, then, thanks again for watching, fellas. I will see you guys next time.